How to Blow Up a Pipeline, Learning to Fight in a World on Fire. Written by Andreas Malm. Narrated by Brian Arens. Copyright by Andreas Malm. This audiobook was published by arrangement with Verso and was produced in the year 2022 by Echo Point Books and Media, LLC, which holds the copyright thereto. Preface. No more excuses for passivity. The manuscript for this book was completed before the coronavirus, known as COVID-19, struck. As I write these words, the pandemic is killing some 2,000 individuals worldwide per day. It also has political victims, one of the first being the climate movement, whose high-flying popular mobilizations were punctured in an instant by the outbreak. The climate strikes that swept the globe in 2019 have been put on hold. Just before most of Europe went into complete lockdown, I met comrades in Amsterdam who had spent the past year preparing for one of the most exciting mass actions yet, called Shell Must Fall, a militant disruption of the annual shareholders' meeting of Shell, advertised by the activists as the last meeting of the kind. Despondently, they realized that the action would not go ahead. In Berlin, where I write these words, the coalition at the center of the movement, and the Gelände, which had similarly grand plans for 2020, has had to call off its assemblies. The 2-week-long camp in the center of the city planned by Extinction Rebellion has been canceled. Before COVID-19, the climate movement was soaring to ever greater heights of mass participation, but the fuel of every social movement has suddenly become so insalubrious as to be outlawed. Crowds. One could be forgiven for feeling that the fate of the planet is in the hands of some malevolent celestial force. But world capitalism has also had to close its shops like never before. Therein lies an opportunity. Emissions will plunge, again, just like after the financial crisis of 2008, for reasons entirely unrelated to climate policy, which in itself is a good thing. Taboos against interfering with private property have been broken. If a pandemic can induce governments to take emergency actions, why can't a climate breakdown that threatens to kill off the very life support systems of the planet do the same? After this, there can be no more excuses for passivity. This is not to say that aggressive climate measures will happen automatically, that the curfews and closed industries and paused airports will necessarily extend into a transition away from fossil fuels. We should rather expect the opposite. Business as usual bouncing back as soon as the pandemic dies down. The car companies will itch to restart production, the airlines to fly again, the oil and gas companies to profit from prices rising anew. If the corona crisis constitutes an opportunity for climate mitigation, it can be realized only.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?